They'll be calling you a radical out in the street. That's where we meet. So, 10 years, Fukushima. 10 fucking years. And how did they pull it off? The greatest ecological catastrophe in human history. Salmon collapse. Oh, put out fake numbers. We're going to have a record year every year, they say it. Fucking verge of extinction. How did they pull it off? Fuck, you got the DNC, you got the RNC. Status King Cuomo. Keep the status quo. Keep the status quo. Who could have believed you have a hit? Orwell couldn't dream this fucking up. Oh, we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of that. We watched the documentary Chernobyl. Then we start thinking about Fukushima. 3 full blown out meltdowns. Nada. Nothing. The emperor has no nuclear fucking clothes. We got fucking... And this is important. We go from Bush... Dumb. Oh, what a war monger. Fucking idiot moron. How did that? He didn't win. I like everybody's going to storm the Capitol for election that fucking was... Look, this is important. Because I'm there. Nobody voted for Biden. They voted against Trump. I'm telling you, I'm there. Fuck. Table set up. Biden, Harris, Biden, Harris. Stacked up fucking shirts this big. Nobody bought one of them. Dump the Trump. Fuck Trump fucking selling them out faster than they could get them in. That's all you heard. I heard it fucking, I was there for fucking, 2 weeks this year, and I've been around. I heard it fucking over and over and over, fucking status quo. How did this happen? The DNC. Look, in 2016, everybody voted for Bernie Sanders. How come he didn't win? How come in 2020, everybody voted for Bernie Sanders? How come he didn't win? Because the fucking game's fucking rigged. Corporatist status quo. Fucking sliding with Biden? Fuck. Fucking everybody knows what a corporatist fucking whore he is, but count your blessings. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. At least it ain't fucking Trump and fucking Trump. So they're going to storm the Capitol, the useful idiots, and fucking throw away their whole fucking lives for this con man. It's unbelievable. So we go, Bush. Dumb. Yay! Oh, bummer. Dumber. Oh, that guy's so fucking pathetically dumb. You can look it up. That's our group asking, what are you going to do about him? Got to tell you, don't know what happened. This guy propped up by the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. The mob says, Trump's got ties to the mob. Status quo, but they think they're the mob in fucking New York. Well, I can prove it. The AG on the $7.6 billion fucking bailout, she takes them on. Well, we'll see when she takes them on. It's the most corrupt thing in the history of the fucking city of New York City. Is the fucking nuclear energy bailout. They were done. They were all closed. And, Indian Point, no. Go upstate where they fucking really run the fucking show. 9 Mile Island, 3 times worse than 3 Mile Island. Fucking. They crashed them. Fucking the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate comes in, buys them for pennies on the fucking dollar. From Bill Gates and clan. Well, Bill Gates is the guy who rolls in. I mean, these are not public utilities. Look who fucking owns them. These corporate fucking whores. The fucking, Apple fucking, Tesla's in the game now. Fucking, they buy for peanuts. And then you got to go to the taxpayer, right? They don't go to the taxpayer. Fucking, I mean, it's the most corrupt thing I've ever seen in my life. And Status King Cuomo just is here. Simple. Oh, Fukushima, 10 years. 10 years when... I don't think people realize. So, Sam, my friend in New York, I've been fighting fucking, I've been in handcuffs at Indian Point so many times. Fucking Linda fucking Eastman, Epstein. It's crazy because they're willing to kill their own family members. They don't care. And Yoko's fucking high school right there in Westchester County. Fucking, why do you see very little protesting at Indian Point besides Kevin Blount? Those fuckers, the police, the mob. I remember I'm walking through the New York City area. This is the day I'm sitting with Donovan Mitchell. Come home from Italy. Fucking exhausted. Fucking slept in the airport all night. Fucking so exhausted I can't fucking. Flown home from fucking Europe. And what is this? 2017. August. September-ish. I got my San Onofre shirt on. And this is important because the mob this is historic and important. The mob in Italy, when you can look it up, Westinghouse, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, it's the greatest organized crime syndicate in the history of mankind. rolled into Italy and says, we want to fire these 5 reactors back up. Mike Lee gets caught. That's where I was when Fukushima happened 10 years ago. I was in the Energy Solutions dump site protesting Mike Lee sneaking in the Italian waste when his dad, oh, don't you, I just found out my dad's a downwinder. This is the dumb politicians you have, the puppets we have. They're that fucking ignorant. They're pathetic. So the Italian mob kneecaps them. Kneecap. So they think they're the mob. They ran them out of Brooklyn, supposedly, over to Jersey, down by the refinery. Fucking, it's a crime syndicate. That's who propped up Obama. That's who propped up fucking Trump. Why do you think they're all protected? You know, Epstein. You think that's a coincidence? Epstein Islands at Los Alamos, please. Please. You think it's a coincidence? Where's yours? You think it's a coincidence that all the Mormons... Do you think that's a coincidence? God, don't break your glasses. You already broke them. No. You think it's a coincidence that the Mormons run? They're all Mormons at Los Alamos. For real. All of them. The CIA completely runs fucking BYU. Fucking completely. That'll lead me into this. So depressed. I have been. 10 years of this incredible hard work. Kevin David takes on Goliath. I knew what I was taking on. I knew who they are. I know who they are. Part of me was happy when Fukushima happened. I said, finally, I'm relieved because I knew it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen to San Onofre. Ruin our place, which they ruined our place anyway. Put a desal plant there, poison all your fucking water, beer in it, and kill yourself. Fucking ocean's so toxic, it's unfucking believable. People arguing via PB fucking all the time, then they fucking get sick and die. Fucking, they're like, won't listen. So, typos dead at your feet, Edie. Coincidence. Salmon collapse. Coincidence. Fires. Fucking rage burn. Fuck coincidence. So I'm going to get a fucking stimulus check. Growth for the sake of growth. The ideology. Cancer cells. So I'm like, this is the end. The nuclear industry is over. They'll never cover this one. We have a live cam in the fucking sea fucking on it. When it blew up, I'm like, thank you for that live cam. We fought our ass off because people don't realize that there was an accident at Fukushima Daiichi in 1994. 1997, they've had fucking partial meltdowns there over and over, and we knew it. I've been going crazy about it for years. My top 5 fucking, nuclear reactors, the most dangerous on the face of the earth. I always had San Onofre 1, Diablo Canyon 2, Fukushima, Japan 3, Oyster Creek, Indian Point. Protesting at Indian Point, I've had people with me. You get out, fuck what, they got guns on you so fast. I'm coming through the airport, I'll never forget it. It's coming through customs, go back in there, there's a New York City cop there, and I got my San Onofre shirt on. He says, oh, God, we got to fight to keep those good union jobs open there. And I says, they're done. They're closed. Don't you know they're closed? What? They're gone forever. God, that's really too bad. I says, what do you care about that in New York? We know the police in New York are fucking the mob. We know that. Fucking go talk to a New York City fireman. We know Giuliani's the fucking mob in New York. New York City firemen hate him. We knew didn't work at the fucking time. They know the fucking who it is. How can you get 7.6 billion fucking through? So growing up here in Utah, when I was a kid, my dad knew fucking all fucked up, blah 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 blah. In the 60s, speaking of New York, when the whole Malcolm X thesis, the whole Nation of Islam, I became incredibly fascinated by it. So yesterday I'm really depressed, whatever, and I make my grandsons watch the Muhammad Ali documentary. I make them watch it. I says, I don't care, sit down here and shut up and watch it. And so I was a tough freaking kid. Small, fucking, so, and I was kind of a pretty boy kid. The artist, real good athlete, but I took on the so-called fat kid was my friend. The so-called misfit kid. Fucking, the kids walking around with chains on their fucking belt with the fucking goth fucking things. I wanted to hang with that crowd. I wanted to help them. The picked on kid, the handicapped kid. No, I became that because I knew I was fucked up and, I wanted to be their friend. So, of course, everybody in this country was fascinated with Muhammad Ali. So we had a dress code here. I drew the yearbook covers. I drew the, phone book covers, early 70s. My auntie, who was a fucking genius, I mean a genius, she, I says, I'm fascinated with this Nation of Islam. She says, well, Kevin, I'm a direct descendant of Ike Potter himself on one side. The Hunts I mean, you think about my bloodlines where they meet, all infamous. That 1822 stuff. You do know that the eclectic Mormon religion is stole from the Quran for the most part. Its fundamental foundation is, but I'm too young to understand, a 100-year-old having children. I'm too young, but I did understand philosophy because I grew up in a very, very, very hardcore Mormon community. But we were not the fundamentalist Mormons by then. The Mormon church that I grew up was the contemporized Mormon church. No long beards, no more. They clean shaven. David O. McKay, they were lefties, socialists. And so I was fascinated with this Nation of Islam, like everybody was. So my auntie bought me one of those for Christmas. Wish I still had it. Muhammad Ali jackets. And I'm like, whoa. It was right after he changed his name. I'm so fascinated with it. And I'm really fascinated with Joseph Smith and Brigham Young hijacking the Mormon church. The fundamentalist Mormons will tell you that Joseph Smith was an MI6 plant that completely overtook the fucking thing and, was all plant that BYU. And my auntie is the English fucking royalty at BYU. That helped raise me. And if I'm McKay Brody, new fucking Mark Hoffman, I go on and on and on and on my path. So I got kicked out of school for wearing it. There's a dress code. I didn't care. People would want to fight. It was so controversial. It was unbelievable. Tough kid. Tough fucking kid. I mean, I fought a lot of big fucking bullies when they're picking on people. I stood up, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it to this fucking day. It's my path. My own brother stole the family inheritance while I'm in critical condition. I got no cover here. I've got no funding. I've got no nothing. My grandmother used to say, count your blessings. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. So that's what I do. Count your blessings. You're alive. Your body is a temple. Quoting scriptures, picking and choosing, blah, blah. So the path of Muhammad Ali. Now, when I'm explaining why did they kill Malcolm X, I'm too young to be told that story. Of course, my grandsons are asking me yesterday, they're too young to be told that story. It didn't take me long to figure it out that Elijah Muhammad was lying. I mean, he was violated. He was sleeping with all those young girls. The path of Muhammad Ali was the path of America. The path of the race bait, the hate bait. Muhammad Ali's son spoke on the Hill this week. It's funny how they bring in Herschel Walker. He said, what about Black Lives Matter? My dad would hate him. They're racist. They didn't used to be racist. I'm the guy who invented the million massacre. And my grandsons asked me, well, watching all these protests in the 60s, the Black Panthers, the fascinating, were there any white people that, thousands of white people right here in Ogden, Utah. I says, I went to these you wouldn't believe how radical. I shook Bobby Kennedy's hands just a few days before he gave that Martin Luther King. But this is how they manufactured it today into race bait. Nobody voted for Trump. It was a vote against Trump. It was urban versus rural. Fucking the urban vote in Philadelphia, in fucking Atlanta, Georgia, in Detroit, Michigan. Shaquille O'Neal, which blows my mind, says it better than anyone. Speaking of Donovan Mitchell riding, By the way, Shaquille, I'm going to send this to, I have a trainer friend who says he knows, from Weber State. Shaquille O'Neal's little sister just died of leukemia. Why are they not talking about that? He says, we don't vote. I hate that term, African American, Native American. Oh, fuck America. America Vespucci? We need to change the whole fucking name of it. I like the old USA. United States. I like that, United States. That's what we are. Made in the USA. Oh, I'm one of those dudes. I remember all the bumper stickers here in Ogden, this boomtown. You say, hungry? Eat your foreign car. But now, look what we've turned into. I mean, it's incredible. So, I'm fascinated with this whole dynamic. religious philosophy, and she's the one that told me, well, that Jefferson, Fawn McCabe Brody, who we knew, our family knew, look up who May Blanche is. That's who fucking pretty well raised me. The English department should be named after her. Fawn at fucking Weber State the whole English department should become the Fawn McCabe. I mean, these are the people that raised me. The DNA studies. She's hypothesizing that Jefferson is sleeping with his slave. She wrote the Jefferson biography is her masterpiece. Not all man knows why. It's her masterpiece. She hypothesized before there was any DNA, he did nothing but sleep with his slaves. And my auntie says, you do know most likely he was religious philosopher. They're called Dyers. They're religious, Christian religion. They're all Masonics, fucking Napoleon. I restore the Masonic temple. I do all this, this incredible place. The Eccles, the Brownings. I mean, all of it right here. All roads lead to Ogden. They did. Art Deco decay. He probably put his hand on the crank. He's straight for what? And then I'm fascinated. So, we're required to read the Bible, the Book of Mormon, Old Testament, New Testament. I'm growing up in Utah. Not fundamentals, contemporaries, but all this, they're teaching us the fairy tale lie about what the natives are. I'm planting the wigwam. That's bullshit. Fawn McCabe Brody had hypothesized that her big crux was that the indigenous people here were Chinese, which they are. It's like this new stuff's coming out all over in the Bay Area. Columbus never discovered a fucking America. Neither did the fucking Spanish invaders. Unleash it becomes... Fuck, Asians were fishing in Avila. Fuck, speaking of that, here. I want to show you, dumb sheep, something. And you know who I'm talking to. You're so vain, you probably think this video's about you. That's Diablo Canyon. That's what the tide pools looked in 2010. So all you people are digging through tide pools and, ooh, I found a stick, I found a brass. No. That's what they looked like. That's very real. That's the evacuation fucking calendar at Diablo. No way to boil a planet. So the religious I'm fast, so I read the Quran. I'm like, I read the Book of Mormon. I'm like, it was real easy for me to figure out at a very young age when they start, my grandma says, they start calling us, they pound in our brain, Gentile. What's a Gentile? Everybody but us. What? Where's your, everybody but us. How do they call it Zion? Why do they call it Zion? Why do they call it Zion? That's what we called it here. Everything was Zion. Deseret Zion. Had their own currency. Had their own fuck. But this was contemporized, and I'm like, what? It didn't take me very long to see that it was the eclectic religion. And so much of it was taken from the Quran. And so I started to understand, and Muhammad Ali talked about the pure lifestyle. Malcolm X talked about the pure lifestyle. Well, that's the same thing the Mormons preach. They had a word of wisdom, But then I started to realize what I had read about the Smith family, and they're like, no, this is hijacked. This isn't. And then, of course, I grew up when fundamentalists, they were all here in Ogden. The All Reds restaurant was right here. The Shinoff, they were killing each other, fucking in northern Mexico, in Arizona, in Texas. And by the way, the only thing George Bush ever did right, Jeff's had a school here. Warren Jeffs had a school here forever and ever. Why didn't they bust him? Why didn't they bust him in Southern Union? My ex-wife is cousins with that little girl. This is the thesis. Come on. What has this got to do with Fukushima? Everything. It's taken on the power structure. They are the power structure. How can they possibly cover it up? How can you possibly not a word, not one politician says it? Now, how can they classify a guy in critical condition? How is that possible that a grassrooters like this, fucking on YouTube, shit doesn't have millions and millions of views? I am classified. I've been told this over and over. Kevin Blanch is. Think about it. I'm flipping the soup can, fucking 19 for 20 in the sidebars. All Kevin Blanch. It's all Kevin Blanch. Not now. Trump kills net neutrality. Fucking Bush dumb. Obama dumber. Fucking Trump dumbest. Nobody voted for fucking Biden. Nobody voted for Biden. They voted against Trump. And it's going to continue to go on to keep the status quo. Don't you see? Fucking the rejection. We're going to get a female president. There's no doubt in the next election. It's status quo. The power structure is the nuclear energy. How do they do it? Through religion. I always understood they do it through religion. Feed Joel Osteen Jesus so I could be die rich. The prosperity. I mean, they just hypnotize their populace. The more mature. This is important stuff. Joseph Smith said over and over, he's the founder of Mormonism. It doesn't matter, a con man, liar, seer, whatever. He said the fundamental foundation of the fucking Mormon church is the White Horse prophecy, all of it, that there'll come a time when the whole country will be taken over by religious false prophets. Do you think we're there? When they're in front of the White House calling Trump their Lord and Savior, do you think we're there? They'll come this time. Including in our own religion. He said that the religion was based on bloodlines. The next prophet would be his son, son. That didn't happen. You know, the old Mormon socialists, they raised me, what happened? I could write book and book and book after. I mean, it's an incredible story. So, there'll come a time and there'll be a Mormon that will come in and say, they all believe that, including Mitt Romney. They all believe, and then there'll be a Mormon that saves them, but he's one of the false prophets. I mean, it doesn't. This has nothing to do with religious philosophy. I mean, I talked to a Jehovah's Witness, and he says, well, you know, that's Prince. I'm sure he had cancer. They won't believe in blood transfusion. This is the irony of Fukushima and COVID-19, which is no doubt from me. I predicted all this that came from. There's no doubt in my mind that the nuclear is COVID. What saves you, COVID? Crabs. When the crabs are going extinct. Crabs, why? Because they have the biggest immune system in the world. They're free. So the horseshoe crabs in Chesapeake Bay, the blue bloods, they draw out the blood out, and that's what saves you. It's the most important medicine on earth is crab. Why? Because they have the highest immune system on earth. Just like us northern freaking Europeans. You know, I call it the blonde-haired, blue-eyed syndrome. Very few of them died in this, did they? Because they've been toxic poisoning themselves for generations. In, California, they're saying the Mormons were behind the Donner Party. Fucking, they were going to call, the Jedi Smith lived here, the Jedi Smith, Jim Bridger lived here, the fucking raping the fur. Wasatch is French. Cash is French. Hyde. So, go on and on and on and on. Peter Skinnog never set foot here. It was called Bridger, it was called Smith, but that is confusing. So, the whole fucking dynamic. You don't think it's controlling the state? Oh, fuck, it's the opposite one I grew up on a kid when Ali was young. His path, you watched his path. You watched the boxing industry become corrupt and corrupt and corrupt and corrupt and corrupt and more corrupt and more corrupt, and watch his freaking beautiful mind get destroyed. He's still in that ring, even fucking when he should have retired so long ago. Because of my grandson said, why? I said, promoters. Promoters were making all this money off him. They forced him into it. It is the story. His incredible wit, his genius, the whole path. What they did to Tupac. I got an argument with a kid the other day. I said, Tupac killed the kid. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Fucking right there in Marin in San Francisco. Fucking the gun violence, fucking drops the gun, hands it to his brother, and a 6-year-old kid was killed. Why no child? What's her name that fucking had the studio? She's CIA, there's no doubt. She's still alive and around. She finds him, props him up. Fuck what they did to Malcolm X. Fuck, he wasn't a gun violence. A lot of the fucking our crowd, the Million Mass Mart was started by children of Black Panthers and myself. A lot of them have fallen for this gun culture. Gun bait, race bait, Black Lives Matter, completely hijacked. You got NBA players, so Donovan, I'm talking to Donovan. I see him in the airport. And I watched him play in high school in fucking New York, because New York basketball, Brooklyn, it's all that and then some. He was upstate, Westchester, CIA, fucking U, at the academy. But they played, and I paid attention to New York City basketball in those days, big time, because I'm in New York all the time. And I like basketball, I'm like, what are you doing flying to Salt Lake? I didn't pay a lot of attention to the Jazz suck. I didn't pay a lot of attention to his career at Louisville. And what are you doing here? What the hell are you flying to Salt Lake for? He says, don't you know I got drafted by the Jazz? And I said, aren't you Donovan Mitchell? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. Well, they're racist. This new statement that's coming out by one of the Mills, they're racist. The Miller family racist hardcore. I had season tickets. I got rid of that. I mean, you think about the corporate structure. Now they sold it, thank God. And that's probably why they're doing better. But and we had a long conversation about race in Utah and race at the arena. I says they'll yell racial slurs in that arena. It wasn't like that when I was young, when it was the beautiful sport in El Salvador. This is where we've evolved to. We've evolved in this country because of lack of education, the lowest common denominator. Now, what has this got to do with Fukushima? It's got everything. It's David versus Goliath. The power structure has taken over. When you had a crack, when they can cover up Fukushima. Same with the Mormons can still cover up who Paul McKay Brody is at Weber State University. Now, just think about in the day and age of the internet, in the day and age of everything that's out there and true, and you could still hypnotize fishermen who are still fishing when there's no fish. Fucking skiers who can't ski, surfers who can't surf. You're fucking this abstract fucking. How did they do it? It's Orwellian. They hypnotize, wanted by gesturing by Fox News as your patriots when they run right out of the House of Windsor by MI6. It's the most fucking MI6, fucking Mossad, they're all the same power structure, fucking KGB, fucking Jill Putin-Stein's daddy who killed the one. Look it up. Oh, you're a conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy theory. I'm the opposite. Fukushima is the most obvious. It's the biggest disaster. It is everybody when I started. I was the paramount in starting fucking Occupy Wall Street. Me. What Kevin Blanche personally is fucking classified. And look at my view count. These are historic because this dynamic will break. Sometimes someplace will leak. We'll have another Aaron Swartz will come forward and break this all. And when the reality comes out, what they did to Kevin Blanche. I told my grandson, I said, when I'm dead and gone, you'll fucking probably make fucking millions off my fucking YouTube sites. You go add a fucking AdSense account to it, and those videos will get millions and millions once the frogs have been boiled out and the truth comes out. But right now, they're in earnest. 10 years of Fukushima. Is it possible? Hypnotized populate. Race bait, gun bait, gay bait. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, the fucking corporatist fucking, come on, Biden's a corporate fucking, what we used to call Republic. They're not even political parties. They're corporatist whores. Status quo. Oh, yeah, I got bought a house. I got equity in my house. Fucking, your health traded for the wealth. Fuck the ecology. The more wipeout of animals in the fucking past fucking 10 years than the previous 2 million fires, fuck everything Kevin Blanche predicted. Dead tide pools, salmon collapse, fucking all of this predicted. Fuck this. This is the greatest fucking catastrophe in human history. The ongoing catastrophe of Fukushima, Japan for 10 years. And yet, the emperor has no fucking clothes. And people don't even know what I'm talking about. They're so poorly educated. Well, that was the gig when Reagan got the education process. Got it. We were taught about the natives here, right here at West Weber Elementary, right here at fucking, we were taught. We were taught that this is, when we were kids, we were taught very well about what happened to this, they're Chinese. McKay Brody said that before. Thomas Jefferson sleeping with all his slaves all day, all these, including Jesse Helms, is his bloodline. Before there was, how is she possibly could do that? She was that big of a genius. The greatest historian in human history. Blackballed her. To this day, what the fuck? And everybody's still going along with this life. It's like, we're talking, I have a really good friend who, Everett, I says, you're named after Everett Ruiz by your parents, Navajo. On the res, they would go in, take the children. To this day, they do it. Take the children from the res, and then they live with Mormon families. They grow up, and he's still buying this narrative. I'm like, do you not understand DNA? Oh, Christopher Columbus, I cannot cut down a tree, Grant Wood. All lies. It's fucking lies. Don't you know? The people that discovered the United States, the first one here, were Chinese. They're Asian. Fawn McKay Brody said it back then. The DNA is proving blows the whole fucking Mormon thesis to hell. Lost tribe, they're fucking, you cannot read DNA. Why cannot the Mormon church pivot? They pivot 1,000 of times. Why can they not say, well, false prophets spin? They won't, because they're going to double down on their dogma. Double down, say what all? The Catholics are doing it. The Jehovah's Witnesses are doing it. How do they do this through religion? The CIA is smart enough to control Joel's team died so I can be rich. They've got control of the Mormon church for a long time. They've got control of the all of it. Not since there was a Catholic in the White House is everybody who's standing, we need to break the CIA into a mill. That's who's fucking covered this up. NSA, CIA, they have control. Fucking, stole it, word perfect, all that stole here, Bastion and fucking Ashton or David O. McKay's grandson, fucking Philo. It was here. Fucking Silicon Slopes. Fucking I get rich and buy the jazz. I mean, Donovan Mitchell to Kevin Blanche. Well, I said, did you watch the end of that game? And it's funny because he might end up playing Donovan Mitchell in fucking Brooklyn. I used to go to those Jazz Brooklyn games. I tell the scalpers right there, give me a ticket. Fucking, I'm not paying. You should pay me to go watch these two sorry ass fucking teams. The Russian oligarch fucking stadium. Somebody told you a few years ago they might end up in the end Donovan versus Kevin Durant. And I'm like, Kevin, do you see those fans chirping at Kevin Durant in that series? And then he scores the last 17 points and sweeps in 4-0. Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Blanche. Don't feed the lion. We had a long conversation about race in Utah. We had a long conversation. That's what they've done. It's been an evolution. You watch that documentary, it teaches you so much. My kids are like, whoa, Brian. Well, we boycotted the Olympics in 1980 for the invasion of Afghanistan. Yeah, we're still there. I mean, you're so blind to fucking see the writing on the wall. The capitulation to all social inequalities. The capitulation to all fucking imperialism. The capitulation that has been going fucking on since fucking really 1980. Well, even before that, it started to unwind. The capitulation is Fukushima. I mean, I don't think you see that. People don't see that. People that are, we're leading up to the 100th anniversary of the Shirtwaist Fire, Kevin Blanche's movement. And they're like, you've gone all mad. What happened? Which I didn't like the thing of Occupy. I didn't like that name. I didn't like the name Million Mass March, but I'm the inventor of so much of this. And I'm like, don't you see? Don't you see that Fukushima is it? It topples the pyramid. Doing it in slow motion. I've talked to Gorbachev personally. Gorbachev, well, that was the end. It took a long time to unwind. The USSR, back to the USSR, Chernobyl did it. Fukushima is the United States. Fukushima is run by the United States. Fukushima, after the fucking war, it's fucking Los Alamos. So socially, theology, all this is the pyramid, the top of it. And one day you will realize this. One day you will realize Kevin Blanche, the tip of the fucking spear. This is because nothing else matters. I mean, this is the mother of all events in the history of fucking humankind. Bringing star power to Earth. Go ask Kamala Harris, is her mom. She died in 2008 at Livermore, California. That's who fucking... This is the greatest event in human fucking history. Greatest cover-up, socially, theology, biology. It's the ecology, stupid. It's the greatest event in human history. The actual fact that they fucking melted it, make it so I can go in. I have the transcript from the Situation Room. Think of it. Just the fact that I've been classified, I've been kettled, and how did they do it? One by just Operation Foxconn, News Until You Call, and all of them, all of the corporate structure. I know it's a long video. It's an important video. This is the greatest event in human history, and it doesn't matter if it gets fucking 90 views. Doesn't matter at this point. Thank you, everybody, for supporting. I got to keep going, and I need fucking funding, and it's important. But this is the top of this is it. This is it. I'm telling you.